Tonight on Connecticut's news station, jurors have their first full day of deliberations in the trial of Brian North. His fate now resting in their hands as we await a verdict. We'll have the latest from Milford.
And we are trading in today's sun for some showers. We have the timing coming up.
An issue long plaguing the north end of Hartford. Tonight, officials addressed neighbors, and it looks like help is on the way at last. We'll bring you an update from that meeting.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin tonight on the Weather Watch, tracking a few showers that are moving in overnight. Thanks for joining us here on the news at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Here's a look at what we can expect. We're not talking about a complete washout here, but you're going to have to say goodbye to those clear skies. It was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, we hate to do that. Let's send things over to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. So, Rach, when is the system expected to arrive tonight?
I think just before daybreak, we'll start to see some of these showers move in. And this is the system that we're talking about. You'll see the steadiest rain is going to end up missing us to the north. And then there's this dying cluster of thunderstorms. Some of them are currently severe, but we expect them to fall apart by the time they get here. And we'll just see a few showers. Meantime, it is still incredibly warm. The average high temperature for this time of year is in the mid-40s. And we're currently in the mid-50s in the Hartford area, which hit 70 earlier today, 48 currently in Chester, and 57 in Danbury. So here's a look at the future radar. And I wanted to show you about 4 o'clock in the morning, again, before the sun comes up, we're starting to see some of these showers push through. And then during the morning, we'll see a few additional light hit or miss scattered showers. So this is 7:30. 9 o'clock. Again, notice we're not talking about much rain. I think most of the day tomorrow is probably dry, but there will be at least a few passing showers. And with a mix of clouds and some sunshine, we'll end up seeing another mild afternoon with highs in the upper 50s to low 60s. So cooler than today, but still well above average for this time of year. And we've got another couple of mild days heading into the weekend, but we also have to time out another round for showers. We'll talk about it, the timing of that coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Well, today marked the first full day of jury deliberations in the trial of former state police trooper Brian North, and it ended without a verdict.
North is charged with manslaughter in the 2020 killing of Mubarak Suleiman. Fox 61's Matt Karen brings us up to speed on what transpired today in Milford.
Well, the fate of former Connecticut State Police Trooper Brian North is now in the hands of a 6-member jury made up of 4 men and 2 women. They were sequestered for hours today, the first full day of deliberations. They did not reach a verdict. The jury did hand the judge one note at about 3 p.m. reporting that their laptop had lost audio. Their computer was rebooted, fixed, and they continued deliberating. As the manslaughter trial of former Connecticut State Trooper Brian North rolled into day 9, the looming question, of course, is he guilty? And that's what the jury will decide. It's been an emotional trial, one that saw North himself take the stand in his own defense. It's also been a trial that Connecticut has rarely seen, North being the first law enforcement officer charged in connection to a deadly shooting in nearly 2 decades. Despite days of witnesses, arguments, rebuttals, and evidence, the case hinges largely on 36 seconds, the time between when North exited his cruiser and pulled the trigger. It was all caught on body camera. It was in January of 2020, of course, when suspect 19-year-old Mubarak Suleiman led police on a chase down I-95 that ended in a crash in West Haven. Suleiman was surrounded and had a knife. North fired 7 shots. And not only will this jury have to decide guilt or innocence, but they'll also have the option of choosing to charge, whether they want to keep it at first-degree manslaughter or convict him on a lesser second-degree charge or criminally negligent homicide. I did speak today with an attorney who's working on the case off camera. He said that it's very hard, of course, to predict when the jury will come to a verdict. But he said typically, after 3 days of deliberation, the judge will issue what is called a shotgun charge, basically urging the jury to come to a rapid decision. And usually after 4 days, that may start to indicate that there is a hung jury. For now, we watch and we wait. Reporting in New Milford, Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We are learning more tonight about two men who drowned in the lower Bolton Lake yesterday afternoon. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has not identified the men by name, but say they were both from Vernon, 52 and 28 years old. They died after their canoe overturned. Officials say the incident is just another example of how dangerous cold water can be. The temperature in that lake is estimated to be somewhere around 40 degrees right now. And they say if you are taking a boat on the water before those temperatures rise, make a plan so someone knows where you are in the event of an emergency, and for sure, wear safety gear.
Michelle Troconis appeared virtually today for a hearing. A judge set her conditions for bail. The judge said Troconis must remain in Connecticut if she's able to post her $6 million bond before her sentencing hearing in May. Troconis has been asking to leave the state because she no longer has a home there. She'll also have to be on house arrest and under electronic monitoring.
A follow-up now to a story we first brought you last night. The ShopRite in Enfield is responding to recent allegations of discrimination against their employees. Dozens gathered outside the ShopRite yesterday afternoon demanding answers after an 18-year-old employee was told to go home because of how her hair was styled. She was allegedly told not to come back until it was, quote, fixed. Advocates say this violates the Crown Act, a state law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of hairstyle that are associated with race. Representatives from the ShopRite say they have always been committed to creating a culture of inclusion and belonging for the associates we employ and do not believe the law was violated, end quote. The NAACP says they are organizing a demonstration outside the store scheduled for some time next week.
New tonight, the North Hartford community is finally getting some upgrades to solve flooding issues that have left homes waterlogged for decades. Neighbors there have seen extensive damage from flooding and sewage overflows for years. And tonight at a meeting, officials released their plans and progress on the repairs. Neighbors commented on the ongoing issues and concerns about the streets still not being repaired.
We still have a large sector of Upper Albany Avenue that is really horrific when it rains. You know, last July, that's where a lot of the flooding occurred.
Back in July, lawmakers set aside $100 million for long-term structural upgrades to the area. That was right after a series of storms that left the Connecticut River Valley flooded for days, causing even more damage.
Leaders at the Connecticut Department of Children and Families have announced a new and improved program they say will keep kids safe and better meet their needs. It's for those who've been determined to need trauma or behavioral health help away from their primary caretakers. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin has more.
Today, DCF announced the new STAR Enhanced program. That comes with a 5-point plan to keep Connecticut children safe and not only physically healthy, but mentally as well.
It takes all of us working together to best serve our children, youth, and families.
Leaders say this version of STAR is new and improved. The original program has been around since 2008, with thousands of children helped.
The needs of our youth continually evolved, and with that, we will assess the impact of these enhancements over time and evolve as deemed necessary and appropriate to meet the needs of our children.
This upgraded plan is coming after the Office of Child Advocates sounded alarms about DCF not handling some families' cases properly. Some of those cases ending with the child dying. OCA leaders saying some of those were preventable. The 7 STAR homes across the state are a place for kids who need mental health help or a safe place to stay after a crisis. 2 intensive treatment centers are also in the works to help kids in longer terms. Right now, these homes helping 42 children at any given time.
We changed the name to be Trauma-Informed Practice. So as we move into this new model, it really is important to note that we're focused on the treatment of these kids who've gone through some kind of trauma.
The program also includes hiring more staff for upgraded supervision of the children, personalized therapy sessions, reducing the number of kids per home for more personal care, enhanced recreational care for less idle hands, and making beds available for kids in crisis at all times. These leaders saying they are funding the project by reshuffling funds they already had allotted for DCF programs, which comes out to about $6 million spent. In Hartford, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We have much more coming up here on the news at 10. Calls to cut the traditional American work week. Some senators want people only on the job for 32 hours a week for the same amount of money. And that was the topic of discussion on Capitol Hill today. We'll have the breakdown.
The father of a Michigan teen shooter is found guilty of manslaughter. We'll hear how much time he's facing.
This is Colin, and he is ready for the fight. He's got some powerful friends behind him. I'm Jim Altman. The story from Burlington ahead on the Fox 61 News.
Oh, the sun was so nice while it lasted, but the clouds are coming in, and we've got some showers to talk about too. Tomorrow's not a washout, though. We'll explain coming up.